majority of the party decided to go and check out what is happening with alcohol entering the town, meaning you're heading to the Southern Gatehouse. Uh, One part of the party decided, nah, let's actually grab lunch before that because lunch is important. So there was that kind of divide. A few of you stayed at the halfway home, and most of you went to the Southern Gate. On your way, you saw a commotion on the street, which simply appeared to be, well, you're not sure if it was a couple or just two people who know each other having an arm wrestling competition, which also meant just trash talking each other and not paying too much mind to it. You had a brief discussion with the male petitioner of that arm wrestling combat ish thingy, whatever. And I do believe it was Edgar who noticed a child's hand reaching for someone's pouch, basically. And that led to William striking a conversation with the would-be thief about, well, the basics of how can you try to steal something without the zappy thing. And for a price of a gold, you learned the very, very deep secret of don't have a crystal and you don't get a zap. Basically. Travel continued towards the Southern Gatehouse and, well, pretty much right in front of the Southern Gatehouse, William noticed in a hidden language sort of deal, the text of Southern Gatehouse on a random building, which upon further inspection read the Honey House. A fairly hilarious conversation ensued with a nearby guard about the meaning between the Honey House and William's thoughts about what it might be. Uh, Conversation continued about what they came here for. Why isn't alcohol entering the town? And the party got pretty informed about, well, through this gate, alcohol isn't really a big thing. It's the imports are more the western or the eastern gates. Just as the conversation is reaching a sort of climax between the group and the guard at the gatehouse, uh, a fairly well-dressed individual exited the honey house, whereas William sort of berated the individual for, well, a noble person as yourself shouldn't be visiting establishments as at this. That kind of conversation.
I think he was more surprised, if I'm being honest.
Eh,
Like, it wasn't that he was going, because that's.
Likely, yeah.
It was more that you're being very open about the fact that you've been.
Yeah, it might not have been a berating sort of idea behind it, but probably judging from this individual's response of seeming, I'm above you, what the hell are you saying? They didn't feel like that sort of response to just exiting the place. It didn't have grounds. Let's see,
Okay.
after that, nothing really interesting happened except, getting attacked and sleep darts being, shot at this part of the party. William falling asleep, being carried by Gurakro, and the party realizing, okay, we probably should take shelter somewhere. There was a discussion, or I'm not entirely sure if it was an open discussion or internal discussion of should we hide at a whatever local religious place there is or a cafe, but it did end up somehow decided to shelter in a nearby cafe, which just so happens to be the cutest cafe existing in this realm of the world, possibly, called the Little Dragon's Den. Owned by Wilma, I think. Wilhelma? Wilma? I honestly don't remember. Uh,
Yeah, it was Wilma.
Wilma, right? Seemingly owned by the dwarven female, who has a beard rivaling that of Barroz's, but ran by an actual tiny dragon. About 3 foot or so ish. So far, seeming to be an actual dragon. Oh, and don't forget the fairies, who, they're, they handle taking the orders and all of that. They're the waitresses. That is about the place, after ordering and having some delicious pastries and milkshakes, I think, as well. Some of you ordered. That's where we left off. And with that, I'm gonna say please hold to some of you, and I'll be right back.
Wait, which of us is he saying please hold to?
You guys, one moment.
You don't have to worry about it.
What's going on? Everyone's leaving.
Yeah, Nykun is doing some whispery stuff.
We're being kicked out of the campaign. Or maybe they
Yeah.
are. I don't know.
Maybe he's doing psychic damage to
Do
them.
I leave?
No, no,
Nah, I
no,
don't think
no.
so. We're probably just going over whatever they did. The other people.
Indeed, and we don't know what they are doing because we were not there.
Yep, they took a lunch.
Oh, how is everyone's day going?
Can't complain.
Should we just like vamp for a bit?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know how much time we really have, but
Not sure.
I love how all three of us are just talking about like we just we got nearly attacked, had like a lovely day at the like had we just had like a lovely day out last week.
yeah, we did get attacked.
Yep.
Yeah, but the session ended in a beautiful cafe where we're eating shoe pastry and milkshake.
That inn was quite nice. I mean,
Welcome back.
cafe.
Hello. So, uh, the four of you at the little dragon's den, you enjoy a fairly peaceful, well, I wouldn't call it lunch, but it's still around lunchtime, so if you want to call it lunch, go ahead for it. But what's the
We
plan?
could call it Linner. Let's call it Linner before
Dinner?
lunch. Before lunch, before after lunch, but before dinner.
Uh, in the English, tea is like dinner time, yeah. So, yeah, that's difficult. I'll
Tea and
think
dinner are like into lunch, and
pretty
then
much, yeah. So
there's lunch,
lunch,
then dinner. So lunch is basically tea time. Yes.
so lunch and a snack. So a lack. I don't know.
Lack. Yeah, we had a lack.
Yeah, some sort of meal. Who knows?
Amazing. So what's the four of you up to then after having the lack?
Well, I don't know. William would just probably wait for the other people to figure something out.
Yeah, I do recall there being a conversation about heading to the Eastern Gate, at least.
That is correct.
To check out
Yeah.
the see if there's any wine things happening at the Eastern Gate.
Yeah, exactly. So is that what's going on? You're heading to the Eastern Gate from here on.
Yeah, sounds
Yes.
I guess, yeah.
Okay. You're gonna head on the main road up onto the intersection and then eastern or through alleyways.
No.
I would suggest we would head there via the alleyways because we were attacked, so maybe we should be a little bit more sneaky.
Well, you may be sneaky, but I don't know if I am.
Well, would you prefer to be attacked in the open, where we don't know where they're coming from, or in like an alleyway where we could probably find good purchase for a good old fashioned scrap?
I would prefer not to be attacked.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I'm speaking in terms of worst case scenario. Look, I'll follow you whether you go. I can hide anywhere.
I think I'd rather just take the main roads because they should be more crowded, so I think we're less likely to be attacked way out in the open.
That
That's a
sounds
fair
like
point.
a smarter idea to me too.
All right, in the open it is then.
Okay, so the four of you are heading along the main road, or, well, in a sense, there's basically two main roads, one leading north to south, south to north, and one east to west, west to east, you know? So, two main roads, basically. But you're heading along that, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Could I have all of the party roll me perception checks? Who wants to control Gorakuro, by the way? Just for the purpose of rolling and stuff.
I can take.
I knew you would be the one.
Or
Yeah.
You're all...
Play other stuff.
like it makes sense with the character. I'm not gonna lie.
Not like even in campaign wine, Mo was the one who always like, I'll do it, and I
Yeah,
love it.
pretty much.
Reliable, I love it.
It's a chance to look at other people's sheets and do other sort of stuff.
No shame.
You can play D&D while I play D&D. How is that not
Yeah.
amazing?
Virgil and Verin and Aiden as well. And of course Gurakura as well. Perception. All of the party.
Gotcha.
13 for
Yep.
Rakuro.
Well, luckily Virus is looking.
What the? Yeah. Y'all blind.
I'm still dazed by the
Edgar,
dragon.
what a lovely day! Nothing can go wrong.
It's all
There
the
was
I
a
don't have
dragon.
full sync perception
Virgil's
anymore.
nearsighted.
We're all just. I think William's still just sort of in like a fugue state from seeing an actual dragon.
Yeah, no, like most of that party, and yeah, it's probably a bit of that, like, wow feeling, you know. Barris, however, somehow pulls himself together from, he's seen this, he's seen that, and he's seen everything between this and that. So, yeah, a dragon, yeah, sure, it's special, but, whatever, it's just, uh, about 100 feet or so up ahead. Quite early, he spots through the crowd the three others in the party, heading the opposite way, so heading towards the southern gate.
Hey, oh crap, it's them. Hey guys.
What are you talking about? Oh!
Trying to get their attention.
The first one to notice it back would be Verin, yeah.
So she hears them, turns over. Just, oh wait, guys, hang on. I found the others.
Yeah, there you are. So we have had quite a day.
Yeah, what are you
We've
what are you
been
doing
shot
here?
at. I had a very nice argument with a guard and a noble, and we found this great cafe.
It was the best cafe I've ever seen.
It was amazing.
Oh,
I thought we were meeting at the southern gate. Why are you heading to the east?
Well,
We were heading there because because you were still missing. We didn't want to wait for you, so we thought we'd go by the eastern gate to, check what's going on,
With the alcohol.
because
Yeah.
that's where we heard that's where the wine situation might be, and we thought we'd check that out before heading back to you guys.
and you ended up at a cafe?
Oh yeah,
With
because
a
we
dragon?
because we got shot with sleepy darts.
yes, you
I'm
branded.
wait,
very
hold on.
confused.
What?
Well,
We
we
got
were
shot
walking,
with
there was an
sleepy-
Like I
ambush.
said, it's been a day.
One at a time.
We were walking, there was an ambush. William got shot and fell asleep.
with sleepy darts.
Who?
We
Why?
don't know. We
What?
don't know.
Should we all be worried? Why would that be?
And then
But,
we rather hid in a
we
cafe.
cleared it out of there and hid in a cafe for a few hours.
Not a few hours, but yeah, like, at tops, 20, 30 minutes or so.
William doesn't know time.
Okay, William does. It's canon. William does not know time.
It moves faster for half. So
No, it moves slow, if anything, doesn't it?
But William's knowledge of he comes from a farming village. William's knowledge of time is sun is when sun is highest, when sunset, morning.
It's high noon.
Everything else is just a few hours in between.
Yes.
Makes a lot of sense, yeah.
I don't even know where to start.
When a person tried to pickpocket us, I have a bandana from them, and he picks up the bandana.
He like takes the bandana out of his pocket.
I mean, that's. I don't want to say expected. Definitely not the bandana part. That's not expected, but not precisely uncommon. I'm a lot more concerned about who is firing sleeping darts at.
I'm also concerned about
Is
the.
your last name Age?
Should we
by
all be worried?
Verin, is your last name Age? Or Virgil? Is anyone's last name Age?
No.
It's just that this bandana is marked V.Age. I'm trying to work out who it belonged to.
Interesting. And so you were going to the other gate to investigate the alcohol thing.
Oh,
Yes.
we got pickpocketed on the way to the southern gate. Where we had an argument with a guard person and later a noble.
Yeah, and the guard told us that most of the booze, alcohol through the city comes through that gate, not the south.
And then on our way to the other gate, we got assaulted with sleepy dart.
So you never actually made it to that gate to ask anyone.
Correct.
No, we didn't
were
make it.
just about to go there.
All right.
Maybe we can go
I
there,
mean,
you know,
we
ask
want
a
to
couple
finish that
questions.
first, so I assume at least. So
Maybe we can go there, ask a couple questions, and then head out into the forest. Investigate
Yeah.
this, whatever they want us to do.
yeah, at least if we can get the alcohol thing settled before we leave, that'll be one thing done. So to the western gate, was it?
Think.
East?
I thought it was Eastern.
I don't know.
It was Eastern.
Okay.
Eastern, Western, Northern, Southern. Let's just go to a flipping gate now.
So where are y'all heading? Eastern, western, southern, or northern?
I assume we're heading to the east. Because
Eastern?
two of us are like, oh yeah, it's the east.
I think we have a majority East.
Okay.
Oh no.
I did not expect that to be like, that. I'm loving it, guys. So, from where the two groups of the party meet, it's from the halfway home. It's about 25-ish minutes, like from heading to the intersection and down, and that's where you meet. About 25, half an hour-ish. So from here to the eastern gate, it's probably just around an hour or so. Let's see. Yeah, in fact, there's doesn't seem to be much happening along this side of the town at this moment. Compared to the other parts of town where there's frequent work throughout all of the day, this seems to be one of the more I'm not entirely sure how to explain it, but during a few hours there might be a lot of work, then another few hours, no work at all. And then there's suddenly movement for an hour or two, just non-stop movement. You can barely get through the crowd. And then for an hour, it's just calm. No movement at all.
Rush hour, so like a rush hour zone.
Rush hours, yeah, but not in the sense of between 7 and 8 and 4 and 6. It's like one rush hour might be between 7 and 8. One rush hour might be around lunch. One rush hour might be between 3 and 4. One might be between 8 and 10 again. It's very sporadic in that sense. It's not readable. It just happens.
Okay.
For those who do live around in town or at least nearby, you know that this part of town there's a lot of, I wouldn't call it journalism because it's not a widely spread thing, but between hours there is that part of having to write things in a short span of time, but there's also a lot of other time sensitive works. So, for example, if you were to import a certain fruit or a certain fish or a certain type of meat, it needs to be worked in a short span of time. So, most of the eastern part of town does have that time sensitive work schedule. No matter what they work, it is time sensitive.
So if like something, if like the hunters come in with like a fresh, if with like
Yeah,
fresh
yeah.
like
No, we
rare
gotta work
pelts,
this.
we
We gotta
gotta
yeah.
fix this quickly, or it's just gonna rot.
Exactly. If we didn't work this an hour ago, it would be done. And we got it now. We gotta work it now. So uh, having a proper day-night cycle around here, it's not a thing. When work comes, it comes, and you work.
Must be
And then
helpful
you
to
can
people
rest.
who live around here. They, in the middle of the night, everything might pick up.
Yeah. That's at least from the rumors you know. Living this side of town is, well, unless you get used to that sort of, now all the noise happens. Oh, fuck. And then just complete quiet whilst everyone rests. And then another wave. If you're not used to that kind of life, it's hell. Right now seems to be one of the downtimes. So the street is, and this surprises most of you, even those who live here. Like the road between the western and southern gate, it was fairly crowded, being around lunch and so. But you get to this point of the intersection, and it's like, wait, is it like in the middle of night, the morning? What is this? This is kind of creepy.
I think you know what I'm going to ask.
There is no thieves cant around that you can see right now. No.
Yeah.
At least not from just this, brief looking around as you're traveling.
You know I'm gonna ask this every time we enter a new place in this city.
Yep, I'm prepared. But yeah, standing. Uh, I mean, I imagine you're not just standing around, you're all still walking up towards the eastern gatehouse, yeah? But, like, trying to find someone who, even the few people who are out on the streets, it's noticeable that their eyes don't even register you people as beings. Like, you're there, sure, they notice you for the purpose of avoiding you because I've got better shit to do right now. That seems to be the general gist of this part of town. Like, even if they notice you, it's just for the purpose of not running straight into you.
Okay, so we're in a very rude part of town then.
In that sense, absolutely. But apart, like, compared to being rude to be rude or being rude because I have another purpose right now, that feeling is fairly obvious. Like they're not being rude to be rude to you. They're rude because I don't have time.
To be honest, I think William coming from a sort of village could probably understand this, due to the fact that a village probably doesn't have like a strict timetable of things needing to be done.
Yeah.
Like when a carcass comes in from like, but they're halflings as well. So when you're like short, like an entire people of short things, a harvest is probably like a 10-man job.
It's gotta get done.
It's got to get
Or-
done,
or
or you're
do-
going
or
to
do
have
halfling-
ruin. It's
or
got to
do
get
halflings
done
just
before it
grow-
rains.
Or do halflings just grow like really small plants?
No,
Like they specially cultivate it all to be halfling sized.
I mean, if you want to know, I could probably like make up something in character.
Well, yeah, if you do ask in character, he's gonna respond in character, but this was more like just explaining why William wouldn't pay attention to it, right?
No, I think you would just completely understand the reasons why they're
Yeah.
so focused.
Yeah.
He sort of like goes, "It's all right."
But yeah, so seeing how empty the streets are, eh, strange enough, you obviously see the Eastern Gatehouse up ahead, but it's probably still another 10 minutes walk from where you are right now, but it's right there. Which that in itself is fairly strange because the Western Gate and the Southern Gate as well, like you walk and boom, it's there because there's people all over the place. You don't really get that luxury of seeing it's up ahead. But here it's, well, we're still a fair bit out from it, but it's there. I can see it. It's right there, up ahead.
Is there anything suspicious from just being this far away that I can see?
Not really. I mean,
Fair
It-
enough. I'll just have to wait till we get closer then.
yeah, there seems to be a fair bit of a crowd, perhaps, around the gatehouse, but that might just be, it's a gatehouse. People want to enter, people want to leave.
It's
So
probably just prepping for the.
yeah, so there's nothing really suspicious about it from that point.
As you're walking, William's going to like step back to sort of Varen and go. So how was your meal at the place?
Yeah, you said you were talking about your mic cut out right as you were saying.
Oh, I did. So how was the meal at the halfway house? Did you enjoy it?
It wasn't much of a proper meal, but yeah, we got something to chow down on.
Anything interesting happen while you were there, or or did you just like?
No, nothing in particular.
I see you just ate your meal and then we bumped into you while you were heading to the Southern Gatehouse. Then.
That sounds about right. Yeah. Tell me more about this cafe.
Oh, it's amazing. That it you wouldn't believe me if I told you what it was.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been in one, so I'd probably have to believe whatever you said. Maybe not have to, but
There,
I
there were
wouldn't know the difference.
fairies. There were fairies.
The
She
fairies
gives you a
take
disbelieving squint.
the fairies take your order and then, oh, I know you won't believe me, but a dragon, a real actual small dragon, brings you your order.
Like the 3 foot tall tiny dragon comes out with like plates and trays on it.
And as you're explaining, Gurakuro kind of chimes in with something was magically off with it, but it, yeah, and a dragon.
In the middle of the city.
A very
Yeah,
small dragon. But yes.
I know, I know, right? What a flipping amazing turn of events!
And even more importantly, the place had good food and reasonable prices.
Oh, very good food.
William Mike nods. They were exceptionally reasonable.
oh yeah, and for everyone, in handouts on Roll20, I can find the menu.
Oh yeah, I see.
It's right there. It's great. It has like pancakes and tarts and shortcake and scones and everything. William's sort of excitedly like babbling about everything.
Kind of like a child going through their day, like, oh, it had this, and it had this, and it had, you know.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it's sort of like y- y- it's like obnoxiously optimistic.
I love it. So yeah, basically, not just William, but the Edgar and Barros and Gurakuro gives you this explanation of a cafe which is ran by a dragon, but also fairies, with good food and reasonable prices.
Erin is just enraptured. Like she's listening to every single little word. Just what? You know, she's like she's thinking I should have to look at I need to look at this at some point. She doesn't say it right now, but it's definitely going through her mind.
We're definitely taking all of you for a trip at some point.
We are going back there, right?
Probably, yeah, probably when we get back from this quest in the forest.
Yeah.
It will definitely be far easier to believe when it's in front of me, that's for certain.
I just want to see this small dragon.
We do the
I-
forest thing
There's
and
no
then
way
we
he's
come
real.
back and do it as a reward.
Yep, that'll
Yeah.
be our reward. That'll be our reward for when we've completed this.
Right.
Berin, could I have you roll me a perception check?
Sure, if I can learn to hit roll instead of cancel.
An 18. So, like, during this conversation, it's mainly that sort of, nah, that's not true. Nothing of this can be true. That's not how that stuff works. You know, that sort of feeling for you as you're listening. But you kind of get a strong feeling as you look over the half of the party that you weren't with during lunch. Like, there's something stuck to them. You can't point out, like, if it's a tangible thing stuck to them, but there's something stuck to them right now.
Like almost a sort of sense that something has followed them from one place to another, like picking
Uh,
up a ghost from a haunted house or something.
Pretty much, kind of exactly like that, yeah.
Oh crap! I'm not that class. I keep forgetting. Like, I don't have any spells that can tell me what. Uh-oh.
No, no.
Hmm. Perhaps it was just one of those. Just kind of note the feeling and then just kind of mull it over. And see if anything changes over time.
Absolutely. So with that, the rest of you, well, all of you continue the last bit towards the eastern gatehouse then, yes?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sounds good to me.
Right then. So as you're about eh, about 60 feet away from the actual, entrance of the gatehouse, there seems to be, I wouldn't go as far as to call it a commotion, but voices are a little bit raised to the level of, okay, there's heated discussions going on. Not to the level of, as I said, being a outblown commotion of people making a scene, but people are talking in raised voices at least.
Could I listen in to see what they're talking about?
Absolutely. Roll a perception. Ooh. Nice roll.
Unnatural.
So, from what you can hear, is the general gist of why is everything taking so long? Sure, it always takes a long time, but this is ridiculous. Why is it taking so long? So yeah, it's that sort of recognition of, yeah, sure, it always takes time. That's just how this but this is beyond normal. What the fuck? Sort of deal.
William relates back to people. I think the border's taking a bit longer than it should, which is a good sign. It means something fishy's going on.
Something fishy is a good sign.
Well, good for us. It means that we're on the right track.
I suppose. So is there like actual like crowd buildup, or is it like just a couple people arguing?
From here, like on the inside of the gate seems to be mostly, sort of spectators or people waiting for something to enter. But, sometimes the person awaiting a package waits for 2-3 hours just to be surprised by the package arriving 6 hours after. You know, a person waiting for a package or something arriving might be surprised by how late it arrives. That's just how life is. But on the outside as well, like from the how raised the voices are and what the discussion is, you'd imagine there being a fairly long queue. But it's, apart from the 2 or 3 caravans right at the gatehouse having that sort of discussion right now, you know, generally speaking, what's around the gatehouse right now should take half an hour to process at most. So it does strike you as well as being kind of suspicious of, well, this isn't really a queue. Why isn't it moving on?
Right, lines actually move.
Yeah, but it's short, but it hasn't moved, so the hell. A line like this should be over with. Shouldn't even be a line by now, sort of deal.
Okay, I think I'll just go up and like ask one of the people in the line, say, "What's going on? Why is this taking so long?"
Which side of the gate?
From the inside where we are,
The inside, okay.
just someone closer to me. And
Yeah, so like there's this group of people, they're kind of laid back, leaning onto something because all things considered, their job is to wait for whatever they're waiting for to come here. That's what they get paid for. If that takes an hour, if that takes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but they don't care. They're just waiting for the goods to arrive. One of them, even for a halfling, short one, gives you an eye and a brief nod of acknowledgement, like, yeah, nah, shit's being slow today.
just today, I've heard this has been going on for a while.
Well, yeah, but it's slow today. It was slow yesterday. It's gonna be slow tomorrow.
Does anyone know
Shit.
why?
Uh,
Why doesn't the government get off their ass and fix this?
yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question, but like I earn my money anyway, so shit slow, shit quickly. I don't give a shit because, yeah, no, yeah. But no, it's been slow lately. Fuck knows why.
Someone has to know why.
Probably. I don't know why, but a couple of coins and I might know some. Huh?
This is wrong with today's generation. They have no drive. I guess
And
they're just sort of like walk away grumbling.
and as you're grumbling, like the moment you turn your
Like
head,
kids these days, they got no desire to do anything. They stand around, they earn their money.
and you see like the raised eyebrow go to a sort of um well, insulted sort of raised, like, the fuck. And the guy turns around talking to some of the other people waiting for goods.
Could William sneak into like the guard to where the not into the guard house, but between where probably all the arguments taking place at the where the caravans are. He wants to sneak in so he can get a closer like listen.
I mean, sure, give me a stealth check. 11. I mean, even from William's perspective, he sort of realizes what sneaking in this sort of atmosphere would mean. So he gets as close as he would feel. I'm not gonna get shouted at from being this close if I get caught. So getting fairly close because I mean you're still on the inside of the town. So you know you
Uh,
get it you get to a level of where you can hear the discussion of being like what is wrong with what we're trying to bring in, followed by a half-assed explanation of what you're trying to bring in might be harmful to the city, so we need to check with our supervisors to see, is this okay? Is this bad? Or what is it?
can I see what's inside of the card?
You would have to get right up to the cart because it is, apart from the slight bit that is uncovered by the guard as he's speaking, apart from that, it is covered.
And I'll probably get. William's sort of debating whether he should try and get closer. He knows he'll probably get spotted if because he doesn't really have a. Probably get closer.
Sure.
Thinks maybe getting shouted at would be preferable. He could just so he just goes fudge it and just walks fully like he's not really stealthing. He just walks up and takes a peek behind the person.
So, like, the rest of you see William just have that moment of the conversation but inside his head before, just cheering up and walking right over to the cart that is being inspected right now.
Oh, what's the problem then? He says as he looks into where the cart inside the cart like does like a good like obvious look.
Yeah, sure. First of all, does a 13 to hit you?
No, actually.
So you'd expect it to be the guard swinging towards you, but no, it is in fact the person. Like, around this cart, there's obviously a few guards, but there's the one person in charge of the cart discussing with a guard, and another person alongside this caravan. Seeing you approach, just swings a small club. Nothing sharp or anything, but enough to defend themselves without harming another. Swings a club, and you kind of noticing the club approaching your head just looks, underneath it. Like, okay, that's a club coming from my head. That's fine.
That's quite a good swing that was. Anyway, what are you looking at? What's this then?
Give me. Yeah, no, up this close, I'm just gonna allow it. From what you can tell, it contains fish.
No, that's strange. Why are fish not allowed in? Looks to the guy. It's fish.
Who
They
are
swim in
you?
the sea.
Who are you? You don't
William
belong.
Underfoot. Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Is he with you? And he points back to the
No,
actual
I'm not.
person.
I'm just here to determine why alcohol isn't being given into the thing. But I thought I'd see what all the fuss is about because I'm a nosy pillock.
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check, I suppose.
Can I inspire him?
How do we inspire him? That's the question.
I was about to say, did anyone even notice
Yeah,
any
you all-
time that he has gone poof?
Yeah, you
That he
all
has
noticed
indeed-
him.
Well, we've
You-
been watching this probably.
Yeah, you all noticed him, like, with confidence,
no.
stroll up to it.
Okay, so I say, hey William.
Like, no, just scroll up to it, duck from a club swing, like compliment the person on their swing, and then get right back into the task at hand.
I
Go
say,
ahead, Edgar.
hey William, why do paladins wear chainmail?
I don't know, why do paladins wear chainmail?
Because it's holy armor.
That's a brilliant joke.
Okay, so go ahead and roll that persuasion check with the inspiration from the shitty joke. Inspiration at this level, say D6. Six. Yeah, so go ahead and roll a D6 as well. So 14 then. So, like, as you explain your business with the caravan of, well, I'm here to check out this thing, so I'm checking this out, and you notice the guard still being on edge about you being this close, but he hears the joke coming from afar, and you see that slight "I shouldn't laugh," but that sort of crack in he cracks into a smile, not laughing, but it it that's what. Yeah, sort of deal.
Thing is, and like, no offense to you, you're probably just doing your job. You're really good. You probably, I think you do. I think there's nothing wrong with being a little bit more careful. But if you notice, and he literally picks a fish out of the cart, it's just a fish. Like, and he starts waggling it, and then puts it back.
And as you like bring it up and then as quickly put it down, the hand from the dude who tried to swing a club at your head just smacks your hand like, "What are you doing? You're ruining." Oh!
What are you talking about? I'm not doing anything. Like, he looks at the fish. It's fish. Remember? Look, and he takes another fish out, waggles it.
And you see the guy literally face palm like, "Oh god damn it, this is not how business is supposed to be around here." And in the midst of this, another god comes out from the guardhouse with what seems to be a scroll of paper, handing it over to the god talking to the caravan master. And then being quite quickly after that led through as you're holding the fish and letting it go as you notice them passing. Like, okay.
That's fair. Like, he waves them off. Hey!
Like the three people are with that cart kind of hide their faces in shame, like, "Oh god, what the fuck was that?" And the few of you staying back, you hear the people going like, "Who was that, and why is that fucking idiot trying to ruin business? This is not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be smooth." Like that sort of discussion as they pass you.
Could William, like, as he's moving the fish, could he like sort of like look like he's the if I'm being honest, the reason he did that was also because I'm trying to sneakily sleight of hand see if there's anything other than fish in that giant in the cart. So as I'm
Absolutely.
sleight of hand is what I'm trying to do. Because what I'm doing is I'm trying to move the fish out of the way while I'm doing that thing.
I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna have to be a fairly high DC perception and sleight of hand on it. But
Then it's fine. William's too dumb to do that sort of thing, and I don't want to get in trouble.
because you're welcome to roll, but it's gonna be high DC.
You can
I
certainly
mean, he's
try.
probably gotten away with it, but I would. Okay, you know what? Okay, fudge it. I'm already this far in.
Oh god.
Sure.
Oh god.
So it's deception and sleight of hand.
Perception and sleight of hand, yes.
I'll roll the sleight of hand first.
Sure. Yes.
Oh god.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And perception. And perception.
Yep. So, feeling fairly confident of having, created a scene, so to speak. Sure, there's eyes on you, but you quickly dart your eyes around and you find that sweet spot of, okay, this should be it, and you move the fish around and glance down into the barrel, and there's fish, there's water, and there's fish floating in the barrel, and there's some fish swimming in the barrel. That's about it. But you're fairly certain, apart from the smell on your hand, from kind of not rummaging about in the barrel, but moving a bit around to maybe see something more. So apart from the smell of fish on your hands, you don't see much, and you're quite confident no one caught you catching a glimpse of the fish.
William, as he waves them off, just walks back to the party with like the smuggest grin on his face.
Did you
Mean-
happen to bother the fish or the merchant?
Well, for some reason the cart wasn't going through. I thought it'd help them out. Didn't really work, but it was fun.
So did you learn anything?
The fish were alive.
Okay. I don't see how that helps our problem.
Me neither.
At the bottom of the line, that's so even fresher.
Could William smell like his wet hand to see if he smells anything?
It smells like fresh fish. Smells fishy.
Does smell fishy.
Hey, you said earlier something was fishy, so
Turns out it was fish. I do find it weird that they were held up for fish.
Could William look back at the people whose cart at the carts going away? Could he look at them see what their like look is?
Do you mean like the actual people leading the cart, or
The people who were taking the cart away.
right? So there's the couple of people who wanted to, bring the cart through the gates, and then it is in fact, as you're looking over, being handed over to a group of 4 individuals in. I wouldn't go as far as calling it fine clothing. However, it's sort of that mid-level of we're trying to dress better than the riffraff around here. So, decent clothing at least. Being taken over and led further into the city by 4 individuals in fairly good clothes. Meanwhile,
Good.
the 3 individuals who brought the cart into town turn back around and they're heading away.
That's weird.
yes.
Just
they
a
basically
side
just
note.
gave the cart.
I love how like when still failed, I just went, you know what? No, go straight in. Get me
Bears.
hands dirty.
Anyways, Bears, you were saying?
Oh yes, this is so like the people with the cart. They basically just gave it to these other people and let them take it away.
Yep.
Maybe we should try and follow that cart where it goes.
That's a good idea. Although
The cart,
we are conspicuous though.
the cart are the people who carried it inside.
Yes, they do say 7's a crowd.
The cart
I
full
mean,
of
we're not doing it. If
fish?
anything,
Actually, could I roll insight or like perception to see if the people as they're like leading the cart away have any collars on? Not collars, like crystals.
One moment. Virgil, you were saying?
We're looking for alcohol, not fish. Why would we follow the cart full of fish?
Because the fish was weird.
Well, if they're first we saw they were confiscating alcohol. It looks like they're confiscating lots of things. So if we know why they're doing it to one, we might know why they're doing it to another.
It's the fact that the cart was being held up
despite the fact that the only thing in it was fish.
Supposedly.
That's that's the strange part. The strange part is you don't keep something at the gate just because you don't keep something as fundamental as fish. Like fish is a staple. We live on an island. Fish is like the staple diet of most people here.
Maybe they were just checking to make sure there were more alive than dead fish. I'm sure that happens sometimes.
Why would you want a live fish?
They keep fresher. Well, they're fresher because they're alive. And then you
I don't
pop
know.
them
It
up the
just
market.
seems a bit. It just seems suspicious to me that they would keep, that they would keep a thing with such a harmless sort of thing, because fish aren't gonna do. They can't do anything bad unless they have legs. I read a story about fish with legs.
I think it might be easier to find out what's with this alcohol problem. I think we're on the right track of if we find out one thing at one place about one certain product, and we'll find out what's wrong with maybe most of them.
Thank you. That's what I was saying.
Should we ask the guards?
We could. It would. We don't really have to follow that card. I mean, the card's suspicious, but I don't think the four of us, right, could follow it.
I think it's a 6 of you.
Six.
7, 7
I-
even.
So,
A conspicuous amount of
Sorry, I forgot to carry the two.
and 7 does make a crowd.
Yeah, it's not like we can like hide and just follow the cart. In fact, we're talking about following the cart in the middle of the street in broad daylight as the only like 3 people who are still in the
Oh,
street.
as considering how long you guys are talking, like that cart is quite a ways away now.
Probably,
Let's just go talk to the guards. I think that would be like the first option.
I'm gonna leave you guys with deciding that for a while we take a short break, I suppose.
Yay, break!
There he goes,
Yeah,
causing troubles.
yep. is the party's or the individual members' response? Do we head do we continue after the cart with fish? Do we continue after the people who handed over the cart with fish, or do we speak to the gods or anyone else? What are we doing?
Well, here's the thing. William would probably go after follow where the fish is going, but he's just gonna he's going to go with the majority if everyone decides not to do that.
Well, Edgar was about to go ask the guards.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what everybody else was doing.
Asking guards does seem like the safer option.
Yeah, guard seems like the most consistent option, and secondary to that, could we potentially find the people around here who are waiting to receive the alcohol, if there are any around? Because that might give us a lead.
Yeah, one of you bearers did have a brief talk with someone waiting for something at least. So that there are indeed people waiting for stuff. What they're waiting for from just a glance isn't obvious because, you know, it's just someone waiting for something.
So the consensus is speaking to the guards or the people waiting to pick things up. Either way, we're all going to the gatehouse then.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
Rightio, to the gatehouse. William looks at the car longingly and then follows everyone.
Okay, Edgar looks for the most receptive guard. Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
I'm staying at the Halfway Home Inn, and the innkeeper has been having a lot of trouble with alcohol. He's been saying that there's none in the town, that it isn't getting into town. Do you know any problems with alcohol?
And just to be clear for my own sake, you approached who?
A guard.
A guard.
Looked kinda receptive.
Okay. So the guard you're approaching is like there's a fairly obvious distinction between the guards, you know, handling the carts or caravans coming into the town. And then there's the other side of things, the people just making sure, okay, you're leaving town. Okay, good. Bye bye. Have fun. Bye. I'd say out of the receptive people, you know, since they're not the busy people, you approach one of the gods on the leaving town part of side of things.
Yeah, sounds about right. He wouldn't want to
Yeah.
annoy them.
Yeah, because you know they're free, you know. So the individual in question that you do approach seems to be, you know, in their 40s, you know, mid 40s or so, human male, somewhat stuck up from the first glance because they have that really straight back, you know, posture stare. Gives you a glance down and addresses you like, yes, the alcohol situation, correct?
That's correct, sir.
As you add the word sir, you see that sort of smile of acknowledgement, like, oh, someone is acknowledging me. Gives you a nod and continues. Well, recently we've had batches of bad things, bad drinks entering. So both here and on the Western Gatehouse, we've been tasked to, well, pull the rope a bit tighter, check everything for now to make sure bad drinks don't enter. Yeah?
And there's been a lot of bad drinks.
Not a lot, but if the people upstairs say it's bad, then it's bad.
Well, they're talking. Could I actually? I know I sound like a broken record, but could I check for thieves' cant around the gatehouse?
Roll for investigation, I suppose. I mean, you know.
I hate this.
Uh,
I
so
hate
it's
being
it,
dumb.
it's that kind of funny feeling of, oh, I found something. I have to follow this. This is definitely a sign of something being this way. Because you do, in fact, find a bit of thieves' cant. Reading, go here, pointing to like an arrow pointing towards an alleyway, and you not doubting it because goddamn, it says in the hidden language I know, it says to go here. So the rest of the party, you see William just study something on the wall and go off into an alleyway and then
I'm
head.
going to hide. I'm going to sneak. I'm not stupid.
No, absolutely. Roll for stealth in that case.
But like they're going to know. But I'm trying
Yeah.
like as I'm
No.
going.
It's pretty much that point of, oh, I see something. I'm heading into this alleyway. Oh god, I gotta keep to the shadows. So the party, they notice you heading away. But from that point, yeah, we'll see. What does the stealth roll say? Oh,
Woohoo.
so
And he's gone.
yeah, so all you guys see is William, like, sort of trailing his fingers across some, there's scratches in the wall. What's he do? Okay, he's heading into the alleyway. Where the fuck did he go? He's gone. Okay, that. William, however, you follow, like, first there's this one arrow pointing into the alleyway, and then another one pointing the other way. So, like, if you stand looking straight at the gatehouse, the first arrow points you into the right on that alleyway. The next arrow points you to the right of that. And then you go for about 30 seconds to a minute, and there's an arrow pointing down into a cellar hatch.
William sort of smiles, sort of creeps back and tries to like get people's attention while still being stealthed, like get the party's attention while still being stealthed.
Sure, as you look around, you realize the party is nowhere to be seen because you went into an alleyway and then an offshoot to the alleyway. They're nowhere to be seen.
No, I'm going back to the gatehouse.
Okay.
Again, this isn't like I may have below average intelligence, but it's just below average.
I'm just making sure.
I can formulate a vague plan. So he sneaks to the edge of where the alleyway he came out of, and sort of tries to catch the party's attention.
uh, you guys, what's your what's it called? Passive perception?
Mine
12.
is 13.
Edgar is
Guaco's is
distracted
also
anyways.
13.
14 here.
Yeah, for most people, it's somewhere in that range.
Yeah, in that case, with a 14, and seeing as you're now not trying to hide yourself, since you're seeking out the party to get their attention, the person who does spot you would be Verin. And you notice William sort of leaning around a corner. Do you beckon them over, or?
It's not like it's not like it's not like a sort of cocky beckon. It's like a look what I found sort of beckon. Like, come on, like but mouthing the words. It's like
Like a "Psst,
yeah.
over here. Here.
And is it only Varen that notices?
Right now, it's kind of that you meet William's gaze, notice that he's trying to beckon you over. You look at your party members and you're like, oh, only I noticed it. Okay. So yeah, you're the only one who noticed it right now.
Yeah, I turn over to the party and go. It looks like William's found something. I'm going to go see what he's up to.
What do you mean? Where did he?
I don't know. He's over there at the alley. He seems to be very excited about something. I'll try and drag him back. And
Like
then,
he's
yes,
got
now
it.
that someone knows where I'm going, I'm gonna go over to see what William's about.
I found a cellar.
Cellar.
It's just like it's just down here. There was like there was markings that indicated that there was like a go here. There's like a cellar.
She just sort of looks at him, kind of like how you sort of look at a child just rambling. You're like, very nice. But no, it doesn't say anything. And it's just
Yeah.
like, does it seem important?
How did I know? I just assume it's criminal because it used thieves' can't. Like he seemed
If
like
it's
whispering.
criminal, we should probably go away from it.
But
so
aren't
we
we
don't
looking
get in
for
trouble.
illegal drugs, alcohol smuggling?
Let's not get ourselves wrangled up in it. I think we should.
We're looking for moonshine. Like there's a set. So you don't want to invest? Where's your sense of adventure?
I must have left it in my prison cell.
William like tries to think of a good retort, but can't really, and sort of just like when a child is told no, he's just sort of like looking down, kicking his the floor.
Yeah,
A little pouty dance, yes.
that's sort of why can't I? Because I said so.
I think it's just safer to stick with the party, and maybe next time you should let us know when you're going somewhere. Consider, what if something bad happens? And I'm like, at this point, just kind of like walking away, but like tugging at the sleeve or a scarf. Just like, come on, let's go this way.
William like begrudgingly follows after.
And then I just sort of try and head back to the party with William in tow, hopefully. Because I'm not like dragging him along by his sleeve like you do, but just to sort of, all right, let's go this way.
But still making sure you're coming with me. Oh God!
It really is like a child. A very
Isn't he
excitable
technically,
school
canonically, like by raw rules, a child?
No, he's actually
no.
Maybe
halflings
not
reach
child.
adulthood by 20, and he is 21. He is legally
So he's a baby, got it.
He's one
However-
year above adulthood.
However, the thing is also, if you look at it from a IRL standpoint, so engaging in that kind of activity. In some countries it's 13 years above and it's consensually legally okay. Some countries it's 15, some countries it's 18. So
Okay,
from
Japan.
so from a human being of our standards, William might be in his late teens in our eyes.
Yeah.
Just like an 18-year-old is legally an adult, but you'd not call an 18-year-old an adult,
Yeah, just because they're physically an adult doesn't mean they're like mentally matured enough.
It's that kind of deal. So, legally speaking, a halfling at 21 would be an adult. However, from a moralic standpoint, maybe not as much. Okay, so the two of you do head back to the party then. One of you sort of forced to, because, oh god, Mom!
Barrett's just worried that William's gonna like poke his nose into a very bad corner, and then something bad will happen. So it's best to just keep it in the middle of the party, even if he just
Yeah.
ducks out from under somebody.
So, on that point, I have to ask you, William, what was your purpose with finding the cellar and reporting it to the party? What was your underlying purpose with it?
Honestly, I don't even know what like he's just trying to find whether there's because his mind is he needs to figure out where the alcohol is going. So he's trying to figure that out. And other than that, he has no plans whatsoever because he does not have the mental capacity to think further than 3 steps ahead.
Absolutely. So it is not in any way, shape, or form a sort of, okay, here's a cellar we might be able to break and enter and steal something. It's none of that, right?
It's not about stealing. It's
Good.
like William doesn't have like his subclass will be thief, but
He's a
it's
knight.
in name only. He's a knight. A knight wouldn't steal from like
Good.
from like an innocent person or even
Good.
a guilty person. He's
No,
like
no. Absolutely. But I have to make sure because if not, it's gonna be a zap.
William's trying to find out where these moonshiners are.
hmm
Moonshiners.
Yeah. So during the moment that William, coerces Verin to check it out, and then they both come back, what's the rest of you doing? Edgar, you had a brief discussion with a god, right?
Yeah, I was gonna talk more. I mean,
Yeah, do it. This whole event's probably happening at the same time.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
100%.
Those like that background scene. Those background scenes in like cartoons.
William's part is the background scene. Yeah, pretty much
Yeah, he
like.
like ducks into an
Aha.
alleyway, and Varen then immediately sees it after a bit. Like Varen then comes and drags him out.
Pretty much. So what's Edgar talking with the
In
god
the
about?
so you said that only a little alcohol gets stopped. Is that right?
Well,
Because how would only a little alcohol prevent a tavern anonym getting alcohol?
no, that's a fair question, but no, it's not that a little is being stopped. It's a little is causing everything to be stopped temporarily.
I see. Do you have any ideas where the bad would be coming from?
The god just kind of points out, like past the gatehouse and along the road. Well, it's part of the imported, I think. What are you asking, though? Who are you?
I just want to help my friend, the innkeeper.
Innkeeper. And as they speak, they bring out a small notepad and pen. Innkeeper of where?
Of the halfway home. His
Okay,
name is
okay.
George.
Okay, and they start writing it down. Innkeeper George of halfway home, like in between homes, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Good.
guess.
Hmm. Good to know. Good to know. So they don't. What's the problem? They don't get their shipments, or
As far as I know, he only has some bad alcohol and he says that he can't get anything.
Hmm.
He asked me if I would be so kind to inquire.
that's. I mean, as a business owner, that might be a shameful thing to do, but I'm not going to judge. Yet business runs as business does, and some people run their business one way, and some people run their business another way. I'm not going to judge. I'm not judging you. Okay, I'm not judging you.
Listen, there is some money involved. I'm sure. You don't need to know this.
I'm not judging you. It's fine. It's fine. You don't judge me. I don't. It's fine. Good. And he pockets his little notebook and pen, kind of like that. Both hands up in the air. Like I don't want any trouble. But I can't tell you much because but there are rumors about if you mix one alcohol with another from specific places, you
We've heard
get
something about that.
right. I don't know. Yeah, okay, but if you mix certain things with another certain things, you get dangerous results. That you have to go now. I can't. You have to go.
Thank you, sir.
And literally you see them going from that friendly we're just discussing rumors to I might have said a word too much and starts to push you gently on the shoulders like no, you have to go now.
Oh yeah, Edgar just awkwardly waddles away. This guy is sus.
William just sort of like, I imagine you go back and William's just sort of being like dragged out of the alleyway.
Yeah, at that moment, like as you're waddling out from the gatehouse part with that info, you from the corner of your eye you see Verin not dragging, but holding Williams, the edge of his shirt, somewhat pulling him along, not forcibly, but you're coming here sort of style. Seeing them exit an alleyway.
Edgar just looks at them like, rightio.
I found
Then
William.
goes back to the group and realizes what he just learned.
It was instead of to go back there. I thought it would be good. I thought it might help us, but apparently it's not safe.
The grounds, the guards sounded a bit weird. He was weird.
So it's like a public health concern or something?
He said that
That's what it sounds like. Or some
What
items
was the
that come
problem?
in, some items come in the city are wrong, boiled somehow. They
people
need
are
their
mixing
certificate for
them,
that.
but he seemed He told me that people were mixing different alcohols from different places. How would he know that?
Or mixing something with all.
That's how rumors work. It's probably wait, William knows how brews work. William has proficiency in brewing supplies. Would he know anything about this?
Um,
I could roll a history check.
I'm not even gonna need you to roll anything because this is like underlying biological chemistry stuff. Like, yeah, if you mix some things with other things, shit goes strange. So, like, you know how drugs are sometimes mixed and bad results happen. The same thing around here, at least, seems to be, you know, if you mix one thing with another from different places with different chemical mixtures, shit's gonna be bad, perhaps. So,
Uh,
with your background knowledge of that, sounds plausible, yeah.
We
Well,
can
that gives
imagine
us
if
something to.
what I imagine is what's happening is someone's bringing in like things that are on their own completely harmless, but when mixed together create a harmful substance.
Maybe mix that with everything that comes into the city. I imagine it all comes from more than one place.
Well, I know Dalemead brews its own stuff that comes here. There's a big shipment every month or so gets shipped off of Dalemead Ale.
I'm not sure that's something we're going to be able to really investigate. Do you think
Well,
that
we've
information is
had
going
a
to be
good
enough for George?
look, and that's what we promised to do. We could just we I think we should head off now, and when we get back, we could look into it a little bit more when we've got free time.
Yeah, at least we have something to tell George now. But yeah, now we can.
Yes,
Now we may as well just go back into the forest and do whatever it is they wanted us to do.
thank you very much for
Spend a few
helping me with
weeks.
this.
Spend a few weeks. A few weeks in the forest isn't going to kill us. I hope. Do I assume we're heading to the southern gate now to leave?
Yeah,
Alrighty then.
Yeah, if we don't want to stop by the halfway home and let him know before we go, I suppose it's time to get moving.
We could let him know. We could let him know why. That would be a we could do that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's drop by and explain what's happened.
Yeah, we could do that. That shouldn't take long.
All in all, it's like, you know, another half an hour detour, like 15 minutes there and then 15 minutes back, and you're on track again. So, about half an hour detour. That's about it. Not much.
I mean, I figure we already walked about half the city.
Yeah,
Given
it
the
was about
information, we might as well.
30-minute detour on foot won't be much.
Yeah, we've already walked from one end of the city to the other and back again. So
I get the feeling we're going to do a lot of walking.
Well, depending on which part of the party you are, you walked one end to the city, to the middle, to another end, and then back. Pretty much.
Let's do this thing then. Let's go tell what was his name about the alcohol situation. We can head back, head off.
Okay, so if I'm catching it right, you're all heading at least back to the halfway home to tell George what's up with, or at least giving him the information you have now about the alcohol. Yeah?
yeah,
Yep.
I imagine that's
Yep.
somewhat on the way, Southgate.
Well, to the quote unquote main intersection dividing west and east and south and north all in one. From there, that's another, about 15 minutes and then 15 minutes. So that's what I mean with being like a half an hour detour. So it's not on the way. It is a detour, but it's not a huge detour. Absolutely doable. So right now the time would be about. So you guys had lunch, you started heading back, you met up. About an hour from there, another 40-ish minutes from there. It is now as you guys get back to the halfway home, about two or so in the afternoon. So early afternoon, basically.
William, as they get there, William sort of. I think he opens the door a bit too, like he's trying to be a bit careful, but he like widely swings open the door.
I kind of imagine that sort of. I care about the place I'm trying to. Oh, hello!
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to be considerate, but I don't know how to be considerate. So as the door swings open, you're not trying to make it seem violent, but it does have that oomph as the door impacts the wall. So you see a handful of heads turn towards the door, amongst being George. Like,
Hello.
yep, you've not left yet.
We're here to talk about you. We're here to give you news about the alcohol situation. We figured out what's going on.
And you see George going like from entering a slow face palm, like oh god, to like oh th- right.
We don't have all the facts yet, but thought we'd
Okay,
catch you up with what we do know.
right. I am listening. I suppose.
Apparently, what's been going on is some ne'er-do-wells have been sort of taking different alcohols and different substances from into the border and then mixing them together to make drugs.
We don't know it's drugs.
Dead harmful substances.
What it sounds like is like some things just come into the city bad somehow. So the guard has to confiscate whatever they can to investigate it. Make sure
And
it's good.
apparently they're confiscating everything because they're not sure which is good and which is bad. That's what they said.
It sounds like they're trying to be safer than run any risk of anything bad going through.
It's suspicious,
Yeah.
I know, but I know, but
No, it makes sense. Yeah. If anything, it's suspicious. You think it's suspicious. Tell me why, please, please. I'm listening. Come on. And you see
then
him.
why would you block all alcohol? Surely you should let some through. Like it's not it's beer. It's not
And
like it's gonna kill anyone.
as you're
Well, it can, but then
as you're
again, that's only
saying
if you drink
that,
a lot of it.
yeah, as you're saying that, George literally leans over the desk or counter and with interest listens to you speak as he's like, well, as a political figure or serving a political figure, how would you make sure if something is good or bad? Little one.
I'm not
Give
a
it to someone else
politician. I
first.
wouldn't do that
What?
because I wouldn't get into politics
Well,
in the first place. It's a messy business full of that I would rather
very truthful.
avoid.
Very truthful. Very, very, very truthful. It is a messy business with a lot of reputation and a lot of things at stake. So, if you like, imagine, just put yourself in the position. How would you handle a threat like that if you didn't know? It might be ale, it might be stout, it might be pilsner, lager, rum, whiskey. What, you don't know what it is. How
Yeah.
would you handle it?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's like that
okay. Give me a
restaurant you wanna
second.
open.
And you know when someone's thinking really hard, and they're visibly trying to imagine themselves in that situation. Like he's like straining to try and think.
Uh-huh.
Think of it. Think of it. Your family and your
I
dog
wouldn't let
take you
any
to do
alcohol through
brewery,
if I
right?
didn't know what if I didn't know what the alcohol is. I wouldn't let any of it through. There we go.
Right.
There's the logic. There's the logic.
And George kind of gives you a nod wherein sort of like, I understand you're trying to explain it to him, but hold it. That kind of understanding nod that no, he needs to figure this out himself. And George kind of nods like, exactly. That is what makes this interesting.
I guess once we get back from the forest, it might be something to look into then.
And you see George going on to, and Barris, Edgar, the two of you, you know the look on his face right now. It's that of going into political thoughts, like who might be involved in what. You know, he's that kind of person. He is obviously, to you two, thinking about all the possible scenarios of what is connected to who and who is connected to what. And in what way. He's done this
The
plenty of
thing that's
times.
going to get me is I've just realised this is probably going to affect my hometown quite severely. We rely on that on the cash flow from Dalemead. I mean, we could probably get by with the tourism.
That's difficult part to sit in. I shouldn't last too long, whatever this is. Intriguing as it is. Things solve itself. Usually. Maybe.
In my
Hopefully.
experience, somebody actually things just don't get solved. Somebody fixes them. The only reason things get solved is because someone decides to fix them.
Politics. Yeah. That's politics.
A shingle doesn't fix itself. You got to get a man in to fix the shingle.
Sure, but someone's gotta tell him.
Yeah, that's the whole point of being an adventurer, though.
No, that's the politics. Someone decides you gotta tell him, and the dude goes and fixes it. Yeah. And Barris
That's
and
not
Edgar,
politics. That's just common sense.
and Barris and Edgar, you kind of get that look of this guy doesn't know how the world works yet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ferris shakes his head. No, he
No,
does not.
I get it. The politics people tell everyone what to
No,
do.
he doesn't say it, but it's that kind of look of, you know, sort of deal.
Yep.
George nods back at the two of
Messy
you, like,
business. I don't understand it. It's messy business. It's not It's not something I'd be interested in. I just help people.
No, that's wonderful. People like you, the people who wants to help. You make the world move without the involvement of the higher society. That's what's interesting about this sort of person you seem to be. I love that. Do you play cards at all?
I've dabbled, but I tend to lose.
Yeah. So like, there's the from the ace and up to the king, right?
Yes.
You are the joker. You make anything happen, whatever you want.
William just sort of smiles at that, like, "Thank you. That's very kind of you to say."
Keep being like that. You are very needed to bring, and you all notice him catching himself from saying bringing chaos to quickly changing it to bringing order and logic and change. Most importantly, change. But apart from probably William, it's obvious he was about to say chaos rather than change.
William doesn't quite understand what he's saying because William's a naive, like, dumb idiot kid. Like he's like, again, he may be like teen to adult, like just like teen to adult age,
Yeah.
but he's got like the mindset of like a 6-year-old most of the time. So he's like, he doesn't quite get it, but he's sort of like, he appreciates it. He's like very thankful of it, but he doesn't understand. And I think
So this
that
stranger,
also
yeah,
proves
this stranger is
point.
praising me for who I am. I don't understand it, but goddamn, yeah, that's good shit.
The thing is, it probably would. Like, William has the sort of humility where he sort of thinks, yeah, thank you. Like it's like he sees it as a compliment, but doesn't think any further any more of himself because of it.
Yeah. Okay, so having told George what you guys know, what are you guys doing now?
Now I think we head out into the forest.
Okay, so from here, reaching the southern gate, you imagine it's, time-wise, probably gonna be about 3:30-ish, so middle/late afternoonish.
Well, it's better to set off late than never.
Okay. Does the party in any way, shape, or form stop to interact with anyone, any place, anywho, as you're going down to the southern gate?
I don't think.
Edgar asks at the southern gate the same thing.
I don't recall who spoke to the guard. It was mostly William, wasn't it? Speaking to the guard at the southern gate, yeah?
To be fair, it was a hilarious hilarious befuddlement.
It was.
No, it was Edgar who spoke to the guard.
At the southern gate? Was that Edgar as
At the
well?
eastern.
Yeah, at the eastern it was Edgar, yes. But at the southern?
Oh, okay. Yeah, no.
At the southern I think it was mostly William.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
That's last session. So
Yeah.
as to which case, wait, what do you ask the god, Edgar?
What's going on with the alcohol? Why is it not going in the city?
The god kind of scans over the party and is like, kind of turns back to the other guardsmen, sort of like, huh? As they look back at you and they're like, we, wait, weren't you here like a while ago? We told you we, we told you we don't know. Why are you asking again? Who are you?
Um, I'm Edgar.
You see one of them quickly taking out a small note block and writing your name down. And another one is like, and why are you asking?
Because my friend the innkeeper isn't getting any alcohol.
Who? Where?
Why are you asking?
You are not in position to ask question here, sir.
Excuse me, sir. You just seem aggravated. It's the halfway
William just
home.
sort of like goes, listen, you know precisely why we're asking this question because because the tavern keeper at the local at the forgotten the name.
Tavern keeper's George.
George? From where?
From the halfway home.
Half. Okay. And it's
We already went through
really
this with
obvious.
the other card.
Yeah, and it's really obvious one of the guards writing it down. Okay.
Look, he's just curious. He's just a bit nervous about the fact that he's not much beer, or alcohol is getting in. We already asked at the western gate, or eastern gate. Sorry, with it's just we're just wondering what's going on. Okay, it's nothing to be worried about.
Right. The thing is, I remember you being here
You
asking
know,
the
I
same
know
thing.
I'm a bit confused too as why my friend here is like asking the same questions. He was here a moment ago.
And you're asking questions again.
Wait, what?
I'm just as confused as you are.
We-
It is totally illogical to me.
I
He looks
asked.
back at like Edgar and goes,
What?
"We already got an answer from this person."
We're at the western gate.
No,
Right?
this is the southern
We
way.
got it from the southern gate as well. We went
Okay.
here like just this morning and
Yeah,
we got
this-
answers.
Yeah, this is the same gate that the honey house is at.
Oh, well, fuck.
I'm sorry. Thank you for yep.
Oh well. What can I say? I fucked up.
Aren't we all? Hmm.
But okay, I think we have that cleared up now. So sorry about all this. We didn't mean to take up more of your time.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I just sometimes logic just doesn't like. How am I the least logical and most logical person in
Yeah,
this
so-
group?
So you see, like the gods, like from that initial, you asked us a few hours ago, what the fuck is your deal? To now, kind of calming down, like, yeah, okay, okay, it's okay, and well, the gate is yours to pass out of the city. Because as I've explained a few times, like even at the Western Gate, Southern Gate, East, if you're leaving the town, it just means you're not our responsibility anymore. So
But then,
fairly free to go.
what about when we come back in?
Yeah.
We'll probably be gone for a couple days, maybe. What
Uh,
was it?
yeah, you don't really know. You prepared food for at least 15 days or so, I think. And seeing as all of you have had proper food today, you probably just need to have dinner in name, to last you through the night. Nothing like
As
having
as the
guns.
resident chef, I will repeat. We have 5 pounds of salted meat, 10 pounds of dried fruit, 10 pounds of cheese, 15 pounds of nuts, and 30 pounds of whole grains.
Yeah, so that's about a 5 day each, like a total of 5 days each lasting. And for today, you probably just need to eat for the sake of, having dinner, not to the amount of having to track pounds, I'd imagine.
Okay.
Because all of you had a proper breakfast, and then a few of you had lunch at the halfway home, and a few at the Little Dragon's Den. So, food for today has been had, I'd say.
So, are we heading off?
I think so, yeah.
We
Hey,
wander into the green.
through the gates, yeah.
So,
So,
isn't like the whole place surrounded by wheat fields or farmland?
yeah, so let me explain. As you pass the fairly small, and it's not really intricately made. It's mostly, that sort of stone wall with the iron gates. It's not big, it's not elaborate, it is just a small gatehouse leading out into the first couple of 100 feet or so is seemingly purposefully barren to keep a wide open field to see ahead for, targets or whatever's approaching in case of a siege or whatever. Past that begins fields of to the major what's the word? Majority to the major. Okay, there's a word that I'm not finding right now.
Majority is a word.
Well, yeah, but to the major level amount, to the major amount, I'm not sure that's it. But to the majority, it seems to be that sort of barley, wheat, and corn-based growth or uh, produce. There's, of course, um, not as prevalent as you would imagine a modern day settings, animal farming, but mostly produce in the form of corn, wheat, barley. In a few places, another couple of um, plants that you might know or might not know, but it's to the larger part um, farmed in the sense of you plant a seed, you let it grow, you harvest it. And some people, not many, brew a few bottles here and there to try and see can we get a decent alcohol from this or not, and is it to the amount to actually import it to the city. Most are like that sort of hobby brewers, unless they make food or just import it into the city. You travel through this kind of open area field like environment for about an hour and a half. You're not entirely sure. At top, it's 2 hours before beginning to slowly enter. It's like a collection of trees here, a collection of trees there. Not enough to really begin calling it a woods or forest until another half an hour when you really begin entering what you would considering a thicket of trees. No matter how you look at it, you're getting deeper and deeper and deeper into a forest or a woods area.
I just want to like a bit of RP sort of thing.
Yeah.
William is just the happy the just has been like obnoxiously chipper throughout the whole of this walk. Like he's been skipping and like hopping, and seems to be like annoyingly full of for people for like all of you are like in your 20s and have like aches and pains. It's sort of annoying to see him like jump up and down and constantly be like hyper throughout the whole journey so far.
Yeah, it would definitely annoy Varys. He's getting up there in age. His knees aren't what they used to be.
They work, but not as they should. But yeah, so time's ticking, and time-wise, about now would be roughly about 6 p.m. or so, and you probably have another hour or two of daylight.
I think we should probably set up camp before camp. First night and all that.
We certainly don't want to be wandering around in the dark.
I wouldn't want to set up camp in the dark either. So
Where exactly are you? I assume Virgil or Garakro or something would actually know where we're going.
to be
That
honest,
would
with
be
how
Hayden
things,
if anyone knows precisely where we're going.
he looks. William looks to the robot person. Do you know where we're going?
You mean the guy in the heavy
The
armor?
guard have it. Sorry, I keep forgetting. I don't know the
Yeah. That's you, Luz. Hello?
Hi, it's face down. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you know where we're going?
I know it's in the woods to the south. That's what I've been told.
Well, that's where we are now.
I think before we enter the woods like fully, we should probably have at least one night in the one. We should probably set up camp before we go into the woods at night.
Yeah, that does seem an idea.
Yeah, that seems like a reasonable plan.
I'll who's who's doing what? Because I volunteer to start cooking. I'll get like a campfire together and everything.
I can scout around and see if it's safe to set up.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Oh, and William, about the alley.
Yes.
What with everything being hidden back in that alley, I didn't want to say anything. Just you never know who's listening. But I didn't mean to just herd you back to the party. It was more of a concern than a demand.
I know. I get overexcited a lot. I know that. It's fine. If you make it, I shouldn't really wander off. I'll start. I should. Probably should start collecting firewood then.
And then yeah, while he's doing that, I can sort of go in like a wide circle about the place,
Okay, so
or if
William,
not here, wherever we're setting up camp.
I assume I'm rolling a survival check.
yeah, to gather firewood, was it?
Yeah, gathering firewood.
Yeah, and I would say survival for Verin as well to mostly make sure the place is a fairly safe place, was it?
Yeah, just to make sure that we're not like 20 feet from a wolf den or something.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll survival for that as well. And what is the actual bonus of that? One moment. Please hold.
Yeah, because she's a ranger in a forest, which is her favorite terrain, if I remember.
Yeah,
Meaning
I'm
your
looking.
proficiency is doubled. So that's a +2 on that. So 16. Yeah, I mean, searching for firewood, you've done this a lot of times in your youth. So with that rule, I'd say you don't find like logs because why would you find logs? But you find, branches, sticks, uh, things to burn to make a fire out of.
William comes clomping back into the campsite, with sticks all over his arms, and he dumps them all into the middle and starts to construct a fairly simple bonfire.
Yeah. And Verin, like giving a brief glance around as you walk in a kind of a 360 area from where you guys decided to this should be a decent place. Um, it's sort of on that outskirt of, well, a little bit that way, and we're out in farmlands, meaning, well, civilization, which also means animals don't really stick this close to that area. So you're fairly certain that you're not at least in a hotspot where animals would gather, because it's too close to what would be considered civilization for animals to stay away from.
There's maybe like a lack of small game trails even.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, makes sense.
there's some like that. There's just giving it that brief look. Sure, there's a couple of squirrels, perhaps rabbits, but
But you're not gonna see any deer trails or anything through
no,
here.
exactly no. But
Makes
for
sense.
for the small game, this seems to be like that mix of being in between two dangers. Because deeper in the woods, you have the large game, which might hunt the small game, and to the other side, you have the humans, which also hunt the small game. So
And the human.
and they're human, yeah. So seems to be in that sort of sweet spot between two dangers for small game animals. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So overall pretty safe.
By which point I imagine William has finished. At this point, I think William has finished constructing the campfire, has he?
Sure. Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, when she comes back, she'll just be
He
like, I think this is a safe spot. I haven't seen anything bigger than squirrels and rabbits, so it should be safe.
Does anyone have a tinderbox? I appear to have misplaced mine.
Oh, I do. I think. Let me look at my pack. And
should all have
Uh,
yeah,
like that.
she pulls out the tinderbox, hands it over.
William starts to light the. William thanks Varen for the tinderbox and starts to light a fire. What's everyone else doing?
Exactly. What's everyone else doing? Thank you.
I guess most of us probably helping set up camp, set up tents, and
I was about to say if there are any,
William's probably cooking dinner.
I probably should have asked while I was scouting, but are there any nice little forageables around? Just sort of had the
Going through it
rations.
with going through the area with the main purpose of finding out, does this seem safe? You didn't really spend time looking for that.
Could I make time?
If you wanna, take another round around the soon-to-be camp, sure, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
so I'm going to ask you one thing: are you looking for foraging or something to hunt?
We have probably plenty of the meat and the cheese and stuff, so I'd probably go for like mushrooms or maybe even just yummy herbs, just something to
Right. So,
add to
so,
or spice up a dish.
the basic foraging stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll the survival check in that case. And I'm gonna add a +2 on that due to your stuff. Okay, another 16.
How'd that happen?
Okay.
Bad for it.
Okay, roll me a 1d6, please. Okay. Roll me a wait. 1d3? Yes, 1d3.
I can just type R1D3.
Yes. Should be /R 1d3. Unless it's quotation mark? No. Exclamation mark?
Shouldn't
Is
need
it
any of that.
It's like, okay,
Ah, there
so,
we go.
okay, good. So going through, I'd imagine the same area, but sort of that. Okay, let's actually look through the place. What is here? You find a large berry patch, and
Yes.
you quickly realize like this isn't a few bushes of berries, but it's a large patch of it. Like it started growing and then it found its roots and it's been growing and growing and growing.
Oh, okay. So this is just a giant generational bush that has been dropping its seeds in the same place. It's not a big
Pretty
cultivated.
much, yeah. And given how close it is to civilization, might be one of those places, the nearby people come to get blueberries, which this is. So, if you pick all of the ripe blueberries you find, you may go ahead and add 6 pounds of blueberries.
A lot of
Oh boy,
It
that's actually
it
quite
is
a lot of blueberries. I don't. Oh boy.
it is indeed a large berry patch of blueberries. However, putting it into a perspective of how much each of you gotta eat a day, is it that much? Huh? Huh?
So also, I'm still I'm sorry to
Oh, you could
interrupt,
dry them.
with the whole foraging,
Go
but
ahead.
William, I would imagine William has taken 2 sticks and propped them up and used it. He has a cast iron pot, and he sort of hung the cast iron pot above the lit fire using these two sticks. That way, to sort of like make a makeshift sort of cooking bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes sense. So yeah, go ahead and if you pick all of the 6 pounds, 6 pounds of blueberries. If you decide to pick less, go,
Yes,
pick less.
because I'm thinking we can dry them. I'll bring that up.
Sure. Absolutely.
Might be able to add some of them to my brew as well.
That's also what I was thinking. But yeah, pick up whatever she can pick
Teamwork.
up and abscond back to camp.
Yeah. And yes, for those wondering, I have written up a whole freaking table for that.
Nice.
For foraging or for brewing?
uh, well, brewing has its own table. Let's just say that.
Okay. What is everyone else doing then? Because I am cooking. I am getting ready to cook some
Yeah.
food.
And Verin is out grabbing berries. What's
Yeah, I figure I would see
Virgil,
if I had
Edgar,
her coming back.
Barris, Aiden, and Gurkha is doing what Gurkha's doing, I guess. What's the rest of y'all doing? The fuck you up to?
Well, Virgil, it's very possible that he's never been actually camping before, so he wouldn't know what to do beyond summoning his unseen servant via the ritual to help with mundane tasks and stuff. And speaking of rituals, I imagine Guro might want to set up his alarm.
I would imagine Gurako setting up an alarm as well, yes. Seeing as he did do that even for the bathhouse. So, absolutely, yeah.
Just going to chop down a small tree with my hand axe and get it for wood for the fire.
Sure, yeah.
William looks as he cuts down the tree and goes, "You know, we could just use sticks from the ground."
Edgar was reading a book, but then he sees Aiden doing that, and he just stares.
What book exactly is Edgar reading?
One of his shitty poem ones.
Okay, so it's one of the ones he made himself, or?
Probably.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Everyone knows self-published doesn't count.
How about Barris?
Probably helping a drink at the camp set up.
Having a drink?
Yeah, maybe that too. We got.
Okay, what is Barris drinking?
What do we have?
Yeah, what do you guys have to drink?
I think I still have that thing that I got from the halfway home. I bought like a bottle of mead or something.
And it's probably at this moment that Barris realizes, okay, wait, so who bought water to drink? So we sent a few people to buy food. Who bought water? Yeah.
Oh,
And
bunko.
that's where we're gonna end tonight's session. With Barris realizing, oh shit, no one actually bought water to drink. Shit.
Oh, that isn't the only critical error that is being recognized. It would be about this time that people are setting up camp that Virgil realizes that he doesn't have a tent.
Yep.
Well, William doesn't.
Or a
William
bedroll or
doesn't have a
anything.
tent either. He was just gonna sleep under the stars.
Virgil is 0% prepared to be camping, and I did that 100% on purpose.
William is 100% ready to go camping. Brendan is 100% willing to go camping, and he was 100% willing to sleep out without a tent.
Yeah, but literally, I wrote, I